Well, folks, it seems the situation in Ukraine just got a whole lot more complicated. Outgoing President Biden, in a move that surprised absolutely no one paying attention, has authorized the transfer of long-range missiles to Ukraine. These aren't your everyday bottle rockets, mind you. These are ATACMS missiles, capable of striking deep within Russian territory. Now, the official line is that these missiles are purely for defensive purposes, intended to help Ukraine reclaim its sovereign territory. But let's be real, folks. Giving Ukraine the ability to strike back inside Russia is about as escalatory as it gets. It's like trying to put out a grease fire with gasoline. You might get temporary results, but you're just making the whole damn thing worse. Unsurprisingly, Russia is not thrilled about this development. They view it, and rightfully so, as a direct act of aggression by the United States. The Kremlin has responded with a flurry of angry statements, warning of unpredictable consequences and vowing to defend its territory by any means necessary. Meanwhile, the Ukrainians, stuck between a rock and a hard place, are trying to make the most of this new firepower. They argue that these missiles are crucial for their ongoing counteroffensive and will help them finally achieve a decisive victory. But even they have to know that poking the Russian bear with a stick, especially one provided by Uncle Sam, is a risky strategy. As we all know, Russia doesn't exactly have a reputation for turning the other cheek. They've already shown a willingness to escalate this conflict, and they're not afraid to use whatever means necessary to achieve their objectives. And folks, it's about to get a whole lot worse. In response to the US missile delivery, Russia has launched a series of devastating attacks across Ukraine. Civilian infrastructure, already crumbling from months of bombardment, is being targeted with renewed ferocity. The death toll continues to mount on both sides, a grim reminder of the human cost of this senseless war. But that's not all. Remember those North Korean troops that Russia was rumored to be recruiting? Well, guess what? They're here now, folks. Thousands of them have been deployed to the front lines, adding another layer of complexity and danger to an already volatile situation. It's a horrifying thought, isn't it? North Korean soldiers, known for their ruthlessness and lack of regard for human life, fighting alongside Russian forces in the heart of Europe. It's like something out of a dystopian nightmare, and yet here we are. And let's not forget about the potential for this conflict to spill over into neighboring countries. NATO, despite its tough talk, has been hesitant to get directly involved, and for good reason. A direct confrontation between Russia and the West is a terrifying prospect, one that could easily spiral into a global conflict. So you'd think, with the threat of nuclear annihilation looming, the sane response from the West would be to maybe, just maybe, pump the brakes on this whole escalation thing. But you'd be wrong, folks, because instead of seeking a diplomatic solution, the West seems hell-bent on doubling down on its support for Ukraine. Germany, never one to be outdone in the weapons-giving department, has announced it will be sending 4,000 AI-controlled combat drones to Ukraine. You heard that right. Killer robots. They're calling them autonomous weapons systems, of course, because that sounds much less terrifying. Meanwhile, Poland, ever eager to stick it to Russia, has wholeheartedly endorsed Biden's decision to send long-range missiles. But here's the kicker, folks. With the US presidential election just around the corner, the whole damn thing is about to get even more unpredictable. Trump, never one to miss an opportunity to contradict himself, has been all over the map on Ukraine. On the one hand, he's praised Putin's savvy and genius in invading Ukraine. On the other hand, he's also criticized Biden for not doing enough to support Ukraine. So, what does all of this mean for the future? Honestly, folks, I wish I had a more optimistic answer for you, but the reality is we're staring down the barrel of a very dangerous situation, one with no easy solutions. The world is on edge, holding its breath as the specter of a wider conflict looms large. Alliances are shifting, old rivalries are resurfacing, and the very foundations of the post-Cold War order are crumbling before our eyes. And let's not forget about the elephant in the room, climate change. As if the threat of nuclear war wasn't enough, we're also facing an existential crisis that's already having devastating consequences around the globe. It's enough to make you want to crawl under your bed and hide, isn't it? But here's the thing, folks. We can't afford to give up hope. We need to be prepared, both mentally and physically, for what lies ahead. We need to have those difficult conversations with our loved ones, make sure our affairs are in order, and have a plan in place for any eventuality. Because the truth is, folks, the world is changing, and not for the better. The old rules no longer apply, and the future is looking increasingly uncertain.